Thanks for choosing to spend some of your time with us today. We've got two guests, and I believe it's their first time here. Both of y'all, this is your first time here, right?
It is.
That is.
Yes.
And if you own property in Davidson County, you're going to want to stay tuned because I'm going to try to ask them some questions, and they're going to tell me the right kind of questions to ask them. And we are going to find out about property tax and property assessors because we've got Charlie Cordell, our trustee. Is that right?
Yes.
Is that tax trustee or just trustee?
Trustee for the county.
And Charlie
collecting property taxes.
Collecting property tax. Charlie is allergic to me. He came in here and started coughing, and he's allergic to me, so we're going to go over him first. And then we got George Rooker. Is that right?
Right.
Now, you've got a brother.
I do.
That is county court clerk.
He's the circuit court clerk.
Circuit court clerk.
Yes,
okay.
Yes.
And your father was in government for a long time.
Yeah, my father was a circuit court clerk in Davidson County from 1968 until 1993.
So your last name is really not Rucker, it's just Davidson. Charlie Cordell, you own half of Nashville at one time, I guess, don't you?
No, I really don't. I just live in Nashville and support Nashville.
Well, you own the market I eat at a lot, so
well, I do that. That's a family business that is 61 years old.
Is it?
So we have been there for a long time.
I've had a lot of good sandwiches out of that market.
Good sandwiches, good bologna sandwiches.
That's a great location.
Great location.
God's not making more dirt.
That's true. That's true.
Charlie, let's get you talking while you can talk, because you may have to buy out on us here. Thanks for being here. We want to talk about property tax. I want to talk about what y'all, I have no idea what y'all do, but people sitting out here now in this area, in this town, and this will play 5 years from now. So we're going to talk about property taxes and collecting. Which one should go first? Should I start with him or should I start with you? He's an assessor.
Well, he sets the values and I generate the tax statement.
Right. So my part really occurs first, and I'll be happy to talk about that.
So you're the person that comes out to my house and says my house is, if my house is overrated, you're the man I need to be talking to.
That's right. That's right. We appraise all 245,000 pieces of real property in Davidson County.
245,000.
245,000 pieces of real property. We do that.
Now, what's not real property?
Well, real property would include land and buildings, and personal property. We also appraise personal property for businesses. Any business that has personal property like desks, chairs, computers, these cameras, things like that, they're all taxable if they're used in a business enterprise. So they're,
is that right?
Right, and they're reported to us every year on a form called a Tax Schedule B. And the state law has a depreciation schedule in it, so it's pretty easy to fill out. You just list the acquisition cost of the piece of equipment, and then you use the acquisition year, and it gives you a little depreciation factor that you apply to it, and that's the value of the property in that case. So that's it's a self-reporting tax on a form that is provided by our office to every business, hopefully every business that's in operation on January 1st of each year.
I am a mechanic by trade. Has it gotten to the point now, if I'm a mechanic now on tools, I have to pay taxes on those tools?
That's correct. That's correct. So, but
I didn't know that.
The personal property tax has been around.
Is he going to be hunting me down for years when I was a mechanic and trying to get me to pay back taxes?
Oh, he probably won't go back that far.
He couldn't go back that far. They didn't have computers.
Statute of limitations. Yeah.
But I didn't know that. So
Right.
Channel 5, Channel 4, 2, they have to pay taxes on their. I didn't know
equipment.
that.
That's right.
What about a Vanderbilt emergency room? All that hospital equipment in there.
If you can be exempt from property taxes on real and personal property if your property is used for a charitable, religious, scientific, or educational purpose.
See, I'm that.
So you apply for that.
Everything.
You apply for that exemption to the
line
state
every
board.
Day it opens up. I'm over there getting me an exemption. Yes.
Exactly. So those exemptions are reviewed and approved by the State Board of Equalization. We process the application form to them, and so people who are using the equipment and their real property, in fact, for that purpose, that's approved by the state board, don't pay any taxes on it.
Now tell me again. Give me a
That's where
definition.
you want to
I'm
be.
slow. Tell me real property. Real property is
Real
something that's
property
taxable.
is land and buildings, and it's taxable.
My house is real property.
Right, your house is real property.
I pay real taxes.
If it's attached to the ground and it can't be moved, that's really the way to think of it. That would be real property.
And what about
if you can pick
Bubba's
it up
living in
and
a
move
house
it around,
trailer out here?
Yeah, personal property. House trailers are considered to be real property if they're connected to the ground by utilities.
What about mobile home?
Mobile homes are the same thing. Yeah.
Motor home.
Motorhome is not. Motorhome, you can drive it off. It's personal property.
So it's personal property.
And it wouldn't be taxable if it were used by somebody as a residence or as a non-commercial endeavor. If you're just using it and it's parked at your house and you use it to take trips and you just enjoy it for recreation, then it's not taxable. But if you used it in a business, let's say you had a food truck and it was moving all over town, then you would have to report that and pay taxes on it.
So if I've got a 1946 food truck, okay. Do you rate it according to the year it is?
You do. You actually do.
Value of the property.
Exactly. So you take the acquisition cost, whatever they paid for it, and you go to this schedule and you find the year that it was acquired, and you multiply it times that rate. Now that rate never falls below 20%. That's a residual rate. It's always worth 20% of acquisition cost at the very least. But
he enjoys this, doesn't he?
Oh, big time.
He's liking this. Now,
I've been doing this for 35 years.
35, I was supposed to say, 35 years. Now, you're in an elected position?
Yes, I am in an elected
position. So we
position.
elected you to be in your position.
You elected me for the first time 4 years ago in 2008, and I'm up for re-election this year.
You replaced my friend.
Joanne North.
Yes.
Yes.
Now it's all coming together. You're down on 2nd Avenue.
Yes, sir. That's correct. Right, absolutely. And
he said, sir. This guy's got he's getting the game.
Yeah,
he's in the game here. Okay.
I went to work there when I was in high school in 1977 for Jim Ed Clary, and worked for Jim Ed till his death in the early 90s, and then Miss North took his place, and she was great to work for, and she was a great assessor.
Oh, she's a good person.
She is a good person. We've had a history of really wonderful assessors in Nashville, from Clifford Allen to Jim Ed Clary on up to
Clifford
Miss
Allen.
North.
You remember Clifford Allen?
Oh, I do.
You was friends with his.
I was.
Yeah.
See, I went to work in 1958 for the old city.
That's Vietnam, man.
So I've been hanging around for a while. Exactly.
That was before I was born, actually, Mr. Cardwell.
58.
No, wait, wasn't
I was born in 59.
Okay.
Are you serious?
He's a kid.
I'm serious.
Yeah.
He's too young to be on set.
That's right.
You've been here for 100 years, haven't you?
Almost, about a half 100.
You're a face in Nashville that everybody knows and everybody likes. I've never heard a negative word about you.
Well, I have myself a few times, but I try to keep it as small as I can.
I really have. I just sitting here thinking, I've never heard a negative, and I know a lot of people.
I know you do. Well, I appreciate that.
But I've never heard a negative word about you. That's a compliment.
Well, it is, and I try to keep my attitude good and try to do a good service for the community.
Now, he appraises the property and you collect it.
I collect. He gives me the value of the property, and the council every year approves a tax rate. I take that tax rate and apply that to the value and generate a tax statement, and we send out roughly about 125,000 statements. If a person has a mortgage and their taxes are included in their mortgage, then we do not send the taxpayer a statement. We forward that to the mortgage company. So we roughly send out about 125,000 statements annually.
How many dollars, if it's a fair question, if it's not telling me it's
Sure.
not fair, how many dollars do we collect in Davidson County on property, real property, boy, I'm getting good, real property a year?
I'm going to include personalty in that figure, $760 million.
760 million.
Basically, it's half of the budget for metropolitan government. This year, what's proposed is 52% of the budget is made up of property taxes.
Now, my limited knowledge of government is only what I get when I do Buck Dozier, and he tries to give me a lesson on government every time he comes on the show.
Right.
Because Buck has a passion for Nashville.
He does.
He's just one of those people. Just him and Vice Mayor Gentry.
Right.
They just have a passion for. I just love them. They have a passion for Nashville. Where does the 48% come from? You got property tax giving you 52%. Where does the rest of the money come from government? Because government doesn't make money.
Well, that's true. It comes from the state for schools. A lot of local revenues are generated. Codes generates revenues.
That's
parks, public works. There's a lot of other miscellaneous revenues.
Chief Anderson's got these radar guys running around here trying to generate some revenue. They're getting bad. I told Anderson, man, y'all just picking on me. Every time I go around a curve, he said, well, slow down.
And then we have the local portion of the sales tax.
And the sales tax,
That
right.
makes up a pretty large
What
chunk.
is that figure? Does anybody know?
You know, I looked at that figure just yesterday, and I think annually in excess of $250 million. Yeah.
Nashville's a good place to live. Now, what is our tax rate compared to, this back to you, what is our, George, what's your brother's name?
Richard.
Richard,
Ricky.
okay.
Ricky,
Y'all
yeah.
look alike.
Yeah.
Okay, now, and I'm just slow to start with.
No, it's
And,
okay.
and you got all these notes. Now, we're going to use some of these notes. I don't let me
We
sit here
are.
and talk,
We-
talk, me not use them.
We're going to
because
talk about
you make
tax
me look
relief
like
and
you
tax
gonna-
freeze, yes,
Yeah,
before we
you're
leave.
going
right.
to make sure that I do a good job hosting this
Yes,
show. What was I going to ask you? How do we
Tax rates,
compare?
how do we compare?
How do we compare to, say, Atlanta or Memphis or somewhere else?
We have our combined urban general service district tax rate, which is what you would typically think of as a city tax rate, compared to other cities, is very favorable. In fact, our combined rate as of today is $4.13. I can't remember exactly how much it is in Memphis, but it's right at $7.
Really?
So you can see it's a significant difference. In fact, Mr. Cardwell, he's helping me out here. We've got in Knoxville, for example, the combined rate is $4.32. Chattanooga is a combined rate of $5.07. I don't have my glasses on. And in Shelby County, it's $7.21. So compared to our $4.13, that's pretty good. A pretty good favorable comparison for our tax rate. And if you look beyond Tennessee into other major cities, our tax rate's very low. I think part of that may be attributable to our form of government, which is a metropolitan form of government that combines the city and the county into one entity to provide services, as opposed to Memphis and Shelby County being separate entities, and there's some duplication there. So I think it really speaks highly about our form of government.
Whose brainchild was it of the Metro government? Was that Briley?
Well, it was a combination of Beverly Briley and Mayor Ben West. And there were a group of people, citizens here in Nashville, that thought that was a good idea. And it took them a while to make that happen. I think, roughly 10 years.
There was a big row about
From
it.
the
I
time they
remember.
started the consolidation until a charter was approved that the public could live with.
Weren't there 2 votes on that?
There was
Mr.
2
Cardwell?
votes. The
Yeah.
first time around,
failed.
it failed. You had to get a positive vote in the county as well as the city. The city approved it the first time, the county disapproved it, so it didn't work. Next time around, both city and county approved it, and that's why today we have metropolitan government.
Well, I remember because I was getting a job working in a service station and, pumping gas.
Right.
And I was a teenager. And, man, people come in and some was wanting to fight about this
Oh,
and wanting
yeah.
to fight about that. Some people really had a passion for what they didn't want, because people don't like change. They just
Sure.
don't like change.
Yeah. They don't.
But hadn't time proven it was a good decision?
The best thing that's ever happened to this city is consolidation.
I
Would you
think so.
agree,
I
George?
absolutely agree. It's,
And I was there when it started, and I've seen it all these 50 years now. And it's the best thing that could have ever happened.
Boy, that's good leadership on their part.
We've had good leadership.
Pardon?
We've had good leadership
We have.
from the inception until today, and that's what's made it work.
It makes Nashville a great place to live.
It does.
Let's talk, because your voice is going and you're struggling. Talk to us about seniors tax freeze. My friend Smith, over at Juvenile Court Clerk.
David Smith.
David.
David Smith. I was going to call him Bill Smith. That ain't right. I'm sorry, David. Just keep watching, brother. I'll be all right. He told me to ask you about tax relief for seniors, or tax freeze for seniors.
Right.
Is that the right question?
That's right. We have 2 programs. We have the tax freeze program, which was approved. There was a constitutional amendment in 2006 that if you were 65 years of age, you could freeze your taxes if your income did not exceed $38,300 per year.
Husband and wife?
Husband and wife, and it includes Social Security.
It includes Social Security.
Right. Then we have the program, the tax relief, which is $26,380, and that includes both Social Security if both spouses are living. It's a great program. Under the mayor's budget this year, we actually go on to double the amount that local government contributes to these taxpayers. And if you live in the urban services, you can get a credit of roughly $830 per year toward your taxes. If you
So
live,
is that a check? Is that a discount or a check?
well, we give them a credit up front.
Okay.
So what
So
they
when you
do,
get your statement, it's reduced by.
we show their credit, and that's the net amount that they're going to pay us. In the same way with if you live in the general services area, you get a $732, I believe, credit toward your taxes. So it's a great program for people who are 65 years and older and do not have any growth in their income. You know, they're on fixed income, and when taxes go up, they need some help. And both of those programs are great programs. If you have an interest in either program, or if you think you might qualify, then call our office at 862-6330, and we'll be glad to
Let's say that again now. And Sam may want to run that up there. 862-6630.
862-6330.
6330.
Yes,
Okay. And your staff will be ready to help, and they don't need to be shy about calling.
We don't have a recording machine. We take the calls as they come in, and they can come in at any time. They do not have to set up an appointment.
What time's y'all's offices open?
We're open from 8 to 4:30, 5 days a week.
All right. Now, old people like myself, we're paranoid.
Right.
And we're afraid to call in, afraid we're going to open up Pandora's box, you know, but they don't have to worry about that.
They don't. Everything's confidential, and we sit down with them, with one of our staff people, and we ask them certain questions. If they do file a tax return, federal tax return, then we would like to see that. If they do not have to, then all we need to see is proof of income.
So if you got a family that owns a house, worked hard and bought a house, but now they're on Social Security.
Exactly.
Now, if they've got CDs laying back there and they're drawing interest off that, and they got retirement programs, that it cannot exceed $26,380.
That's right, for the tax relief, and $38,600 for tax freeze.
For tax free.
Right.
So when you put a tax freeze on it, that means it's going to stay at that property tax at level on down through the.
Once you freeze it, yeah, regardless of whether your value goes up or the tax rate goes up, you're going to pay the same taxes you paid the previous year.
Does he go out and evaluate it once it's frozen? Do you still call on?
He'd go ahead.
We still appraise the property. When reappraisals come around, we appraise the property. As long as the value is not increased by some type of construction, then the tax freeze is still in place. They won't pay any higher taxes. Now, if you build an addition to your house, for example, and you're under the freeze and you spend $50,000 on it, then you have to pay taxes on that. You have to pay taxes on that additional value that you added to the property. But as long as you don't change anything, and Mr. Cardwell administers the program, but as long as you qualify every year for the program, your taxes should remain the same.
If my mom and daddy's in the house and I want to build a room on their house to give them a little more room to live in, and they're on a fixed income, they got a Social Security, income's all they got, can I build a room on their house without messing them up?
Depending on, yeah.
You wouldn't in a sense. I mean, your taxes would still go up even if you did that, but they wouldn't. The freeze would remain on the existing structure. That portion of the structure would still stay at the same level. You would just have to pay the additional tax on the new structure.
So I pay
and
the
then you
taxes
could freeze
for them,
that as
they're
well.
still in good
Right,
shape.
absolutely,
Good
absolutely.
shape, yeah.
And what they need to remember, there's no payback. I mean, you freeze your taxes, everything that you've frozen at. You don't have to, some people say, well, when I sell my house, do I have to pay back these taxes that were frozen?
Good question.
No, you do not. There's no liability whatsoever for freezing your taxes for the future.
If I got my taxes frozen, I go down to your market and buy me a lottery ticket and hit the lottery.
Right.
My income just went up.
It did.
And so then I could come off the freeze.
You probably would.
If I did well, if you sold me the right ticket. you are, now we've got about 7 minutes to go. I've enjoyed having you guys here. This has been informative, but let's make sure that we get the right kind. Is there anything I've left out that I need to address? I'm talking about the shed out back. I put a shed out back. I might have to pay taxes on that shed out back.
You would have to pay taxes on the shed out back. One thing
So
that I
I
would
need a
like
dumpy
to
shed. I don't need to get a good shed. The wife's shed's got to go. I got to get a dumpy shed. Okay. Hang a car rim on the side of it.
One thing that I would like for people to be aware of is that we do reappraisals every 4 years in Davidson County. So our appraisal
Use a helicopter and fly over and do it, or does it really get out?
We actually use an airplane and do inspections from a company called Pictometry. Takes aerial photos, oblique aerial photographs.
Been around Chief Anderson
we usually actually, instead of getting out driving around, we now do those at the desktop in the office, which is a lot more efficient. Yes, so it's really helped us out a lot and saved us a lot of money.
That's too big brother for me.
Allowed us to take all these budget cuts and lose all the people that we've lost. But nevertheless, we're doing we did a reappraisal in 2009. We'll be doing another reappraisal next year in 2013. And since 2009, what has happened in the market in a lot of cases is the values have actually gone down.
We're talking about self-worth of a family now has dropped. Some of them dropped, like 50, 60 grand.
Right.
Exactly.
And we're not allowed
the last 2 years.
No, we're not allowed by state law. Once we do that reappraisal, we're not allowed to make changes in property values based on the economic conditions that occur. If somebody adds an addition or tears down a house, we can reflect that change, but we can't change a value of a property because the market has gone down until the next reappraisal, when we reappraise every property in the county.
Now that's good to know.
So that is good to know. I want people to understand that.
So if your property is worth $250,000 a year ago, or it's your last appraisal, you're still paying on that $250,000 regardless what the market does.
Exactly.
But when you reappraise, you will reappraise on the value of the current market.
That's correct. Exactly. So
and
next
if
year,
it takes off and goes good, we're paying low taxes and doing good.
Right.
5 minutes to go.
So
let's make sure we get it all in here.
One other thing I want to say is that to sign up for tax relief and for the tax freeze and tax relief, you have until April the 5th of 2013.
Okay, so it's got a deadline on it.
You have a deadline, but you have until April the 5th of 2013 for the tax relief as well as the tax freeze.
Now, why is there a stipulation on it? Why is that not ongoing? That's just the way it is?
By state law.
State law?
State statute, yes.
You going to run for mayor?
No, sir.
Okay. I'm going to ask him because he looks like he might.
He's got more time now.
That's right. You've been there and done that.
Yeah.
Anything that we need to cover that we haven't asked you? You got anything, George?
One other thing I would like to say, and it's unfortunately this program will probably air after the fact, but we have an appeals process, and the deadline to file an appeal for this tax year is Friday, June the 15th, which is 2 days from now.
We're taping this.
We're taping this now, but it's still good for people to know that even though there is an appeals process, the deadline's passed for 2012, but we will be reappraising in 2013. So if your property's overvalued, we will take care of that automatically next year. Hopefully you get the value just like it should be.
Is there a figure for this question? Is there a percentage of people, I've got a piece of property that I've been told I need to go kind of say, hey, you need to go down and appeal this. You're paying too many taxes.
Right.
But I'm such a good citizen. See, and so what's the percentage of people that come in that make an appeal? I just don't go down and look stupid. I'll go down there and appeal to get it reduced, and you'll raise it on me. That's what I'm concerned about.
That doesn't happen very often. But out of the 235,000 real property parcels, we may have 2,000 parcels appeal this year. Maybe 2,500. We've still got them coming in.
What percentage of that will they get granted a percentage of their decrease?
I would say
that right?
Probably 50 or 60% of the people that appeal will get some kind of reduction, especially now since the market has declined, because the board can make those changes. If they see that there's a discrepancy between market value and our appraisal, they can make an adjustment to compensate for that. But I've had a lot of people call me and say, should I appeal? And I've sat down with them and gone through the analysis over the phone and said, here's what properties are selling for in your neighborhood, and you're probably overvalued on a $200,000 house in your neighborhood, maybe $20,000, and that's pretty extreme, really. And they say, how much is that? And I say, well, it's about $200 a year. And they say, well, I'm not worried about it. You're going to change it next year anyway. But certainly people have the right to appeal if they do so timely. And unfortunately, I say this program will air after that time has already been exhausted. So, and if you miss the deadline, it's difficult.
For 13. They
can
lined up.
They can get lined up for 13,
minute,
but the point is really for 13, we're going to change all the values anyway.
Anyway.
And so hopefully we're going to correct any kind of problem that exists currently will be corrected automatically for them in 2013.
Come out there and put me at the back of bed campus over my house.
We will mail notices next spring in April and May. March, April, May, it's a longer process because of the reappraisal year. So people who want to appeal next year can do so to our staff informally first, and then if they don't like the determination that our staff makes, they can appeal to the Metro Board. And we try to make that process easy.
If you have a, we ain't got but a minute to go, but if you got a property and you move out of it and make it a rental property, does that change the value of the property?
Changes the classification of the property. So a rental property, if it's two or more units, is assessed at 40% of value, whereas a residential property is only assessed at 25% of value. So if you had a duplex, for example, and you lived in one side and you rented the other one, it would be assessed at 25%. If you rent both sides, it's assessed at 40%.
40%, okay.
Trying to get that out quickly.
Anything, Matt?
Well, here again, I want the taxpayers to know that we're there to help them, just like the assessor's office.
Absolutely.
And any questions you may have, feel free to call our office, because that's what we're there for, and we do work for the taxpayers.
And you work for them and you want to help
We want to help
them.
Absolutely.
You really want to help
we
people.
do.
Right.
That's good. I appreciate y'all. I appreciate what you do for our city. I appreciate your lifetime of commitment to the city of Nashville and making it a good place. My prayer is that every child, every boy and girl in the city, when they lay down at night, will have a safe place and a good place
And they
to
do.
lay down and go to sleep.
Amen.
And we're making progress toward that thing.
We are.
Thank you so much for
Thank
coming.
you. Appreciate it.
Will y'all come back?
We will.
Sure, absolutely.
I appreciate that. Folks, I know I didn't ask the right question probably, but I did as good as I know how to do. And we're going to learn about this. We're going to get them back, and we're going to ask more questions. And the best thing I can tell us to all those seniors, take care of business quickly. Don't wait around the last minute. Time is not on all of our sides. Thanks for tuning in. Once you come to Inner City Church, thank you. God bless.
Troublesome times are here, feeling men's hearts with fear. Freedom we hold dear, now is at stake. Humble your hearts to God, save from the chastening rod. Seek the way pilgrims trod, Christians away. My Jesus is coming soon, morning or night or noon. Many will meet their doom. Trumpets will sound, and all of the dead shall rise. Righteous me in the skies. I'm going where no one does, heavenward bound. Well, troubles will soon be o'er, happy forevermore. When we meet on that shore, free from all care, rising up in the skies, telling this world